Born in London in 1970, Sanjay Shah's journey from medicine to finance led him to Morgan Stanley. But after the 2008 financial crisis left him jobless, he embarked on a path that would become Denmark's largest ever fraud case.
Sanjay Shah, Sanjay Shah.
Sanjay Shah, Sanjay Shah, Sanjay Shah, Sanjay Shah.
The heart of this story lies in one man's master plan of defrauding a nation and the legal battles that unfolded across the globe. Sanjay Shah, the son of a doctor, initially studied medicine at King's College Medical School. However, his life took an unexpected turn when he decided to instead pursue a career in finance. He dropped out of college and was hired at Morgan Stanley, a prestigious investment bank. Watching all the traders arrive to work in their fancy sports cars, it was here that he found his inner drive to make money. Lots of money. But as the global financial crisis of 2008 shook the very foundations of the industry, Sanjay was left without a job. After losing his job, Sanjay founded Solo Capital Partners, his very own hedge fund. He moved to Dubai in 2009, but kept the British side of his hedge fund open, and he quickly managed to hire more than 100 financial experts in London and Dubai. This is where the story of the biggest fraud in Denmark's history begins. When you hold shares in specific companies, you open the door to a unique financial opportunity. Imagine being a shareholder in a company and receiving a slice of the company's hard-earned profits as a reward for your investment. This exciting concept is known as dividends. But as with all other things in Denmark, there's a notable amount of the dividends that goes towards taxes. As Danish companies share their profits with shareholders, 27% of these payouts find their way to the tax authorities. However, there is a loophole for certain foreign investors, such as pension funds, as they are exempt from tax obligations in Denmark. This turned out to be a goldmine to Sanjay Shah. Sanjay orchestrated a vast network of dozens of fictional pension funds and other financial entities. With this network in place, Shah hid his intentions of fraud by creating 5 so-called tax dividend refund companies in 4 different countries. He would use these 5 fictional refund companies to act as a representative on behalf of his other fictional pension funds. He would then fabricate documents to convince Danish tax authorities that his fictional pension funds indeed had dividend stocks in Denmark. He would use his refund companies to reclaim taxes based on the fabricated documents. His big network of entities would often also reclaim the same tax based on the same documents, multiple times, without this being noticed by the authorities due to the complexity of the network of entities he had created. With this method, Sanjay Shah was able to reclaim more than 1.7 billion euro in taxes. To put in perspective how substantial that amount is in such a small country as Denmark, it would be equivalent to lining up the entire Danish population and one by one taking 300 euro from each of them. As one might have guessed, this could have been avoided. Lisbeth Werma, an office manager at the Danish tax authorities, had been sounding the alarm for over a decade about the critical mishandling of tax refunds. In 2010, an internal auditor's investigation confirmed her concerns, shedding light on a disturbing lack of oversight. The auditors undeniably confirmed that no single individual was held accountable for ensuring the proper execution of procedures, and that no one was keeping an eye out for potential fraud. Despite all these red flags, nothing was being done.
"You must have been blind not to react on this,"
an auditor behind the internal investigation stated. Shortly hereafter, in 2012, Sanjay Shah used his techniques to defraud the nation year after year, until local Danish authorities finally caught on to the fraudulent activities in 2015. In 2018, Denmark initiated legal proceedings against Sanjay Shah in the United Kingdom, unveiling a complex legal battle 3 years after discovering what had happened. The pursuit of justice proved to be lengthy as Denmark issued a search and seize order against Sanjay Shah, resulting in more than 15 million documents being collected, and more than 3 years would go by before a verdict was given. By April 2021, the courtroom drama took an unexpected twist when English Judge Andrew Baker issued a historic judgment. Citing the British revenue rule, he established that a British court lacked jurisdiction to determine the tax matters of a sovereign nation. This decision resulted in Sanjay Shah's legal victory on British soil against the Danish tax authorities. However, Judge Baker's judgment extended beyond legal technicalities. he delivered a pointed critique of the Danish authorities, deeming their legal arguments as structurally deficient, confusing, and a waste of the court's time. Additionally, he ruled a significant order that required the Danish authorities to compensate Sanjay Shah and other individuals and companies that had been sued. The Danish authorities were to pay a substantial amount, totaling $58 million, with $11 million USD allocated to cover Sanjay Shah's legal expenses. Denmark was quick at appealing this verdict, stating that the revenue rule did not apply when no tax was ever due from the fraud defendants. The UK Court of Appeal agreed, and the case is to be continued at a future time in the UK Supreme Court. This did not stop Denmark from starting a parallel lawsuit against Sanjay Shah in Dubai. Denmark, determined to make Sanjay Shah their prime criminal target, faced a significant roadblock in Dubai. There was no established extradition agreement with Dubai. Without this legal foundation, it appeared that their pursuit might be in vain. With Sanjay Shah being the most wanted man in Denmark, a breakthrough arrived when the Danish Minister of Justice signed an extradition agreement with the UAE, enabling mutual extradition based on local court rulings. This was a major breaking point for the Danish authorities, as this would now allow Denmark to seek extradition to pursue criminal charges on Danish soil. While the lawsuit was ongoing, Sanjay Shah was arrested by the end of May and detained in Dubai, awaiting the outcome of the case. The pivotal moment arrived on September 12th, when the Dubai court, to the surprise of many, except maybe the English judge, Andrew Baker, rejected Shah's extradition due to Danish legal errors. It was a setback for the Danish legal team. However, the court imposed a substantial penalty of 1.21 billion USD on Sanjay Shah to be paid to the Danish authorities, initiating a series of legal appeals. 3 months later, Denmark addressed their legal oversights, resubmitted documents, and gained Dubai's approval for Shah's extradition. By the end of December, Shah filed an appeal, transferring the case to the Supreme Court of Dubai. Finally, in April of 2023, the Supreme Court in Dubai issued a final verdict. Sanjay Shah was to be extradited to Denmark, and the $1.2 billion fine was affirmed. This seemed to be a big victory for Denmark, and perhaps a lot of Danish lawyers were drinking Carlsberg to celebrate the success of the trials, while planning for criminal trials to begin in Denmark against Shah on the 14th of August, with Denmark seeking a 12-year prison sentence, the strictest possible outcome for financial crime in Denmark. However, the story took a surprising turn when in August, the same month where the legal proceedings were to begin in Denmark, the UAE authorities declared that despite the Supreme Court of Dubai's rulings, Shah's extradition was not guaranteed. Sanjay Shah, still being in Dubai, had his lawyer in Denmark uphold the case, trying to get it cancelled. This didn't work, and the court trial was rescheduled for October 2nd. When the date arrived, all lawyers and judges already knew that Sanjay Shah wasn't going to be there. He was still in Dubai, as his extradition from Dubai had been delayed and delayed. With this, the Danish court ruled that the case would be rescheduled for January 8, 2024. While Sanjay Shah is responsible for most of the dividend tax fraud scandal in Denmark, he wasn't the only individual exploiting the loophole. The elaborate scheme of defrauding nations extended beyond just Denmark. The same loophole that was used in Denmark was used by numerous hedge funds and banks throughout Europe. The total cost to Europe's economies reached a staggering 62.1 billion, with Germany being the most severely impacted, facing a loss of 36 billion. Germany has been eager in their pursuit of justice, identifying over 1,000 potential suspects involved in the elaborate scheme. France is the second hardest hit in the fraud scheme that has ravaged Europe. France is said to have lost $18 billion. Lawsuits are taking place all over Europe, in what collectively can be described as the biggest financial fraud in history.